All right, so if you've ever wanted to know the length of the crust for an entire pizza, you could find the circumference without actually having to cut off the crust and roll it out and then measure it with a ruler. You could know that a typical large pizza has a diameter of 14 inches and is cut into 8 or 10 pieces. The circumference would give you the length of that crust. So the term perimeter is reserved for figures with straight edges. Circles, we are going to find the circumference. All right, so if you remember back to a couple previous lessons, the radius is half of the diameter. So we have two circumference formulas. We have circumference is pi times d, which is diameter, or 2 times pi r. Notice that this 2r is diameter, so you can substitute it into this equation. You should have a pi button on your calculator, but if you don't use 3.14 as an approximation for pi, you can also leave your answers in terms of pi. Just make sure that you read the question carefully. So if you are using Desmos on your TI calculator, your pi button, you can actually hit second and then this little up arrow, and that will insert pi for you. Or on your Desmos, it's over here. All right, so find the circumference. I think they use 3.14 for the majority of these. All right, so find the circumference of the circle and round to the nearest tenth. So 13 is a radius. Let's get this up. And my pi button is here. So 13 is my radius, so we're going to use 2 times pi times 13. Let's see what it looks like, 3.14. All right, so they're going to want 3.14 for majority of your answer, so 81.6. All right, 4 is my radius, so I can substitute it into this formula where I had 13, so 25.1. And then on this one, 19.4 is my diameter. So my diameter formula is pi times diameter. So 60.9. The easiest way is just use Desmos and have both pulled up, and then you can just substitute these values in. Diameter is 4.4, so I'll use this second equation, so 13.8. And then we get into arc length formula. So you have the measure of the arc divided by 360 times the circumference. So the measure of the arc, and again, central angle is the same as the measure of the arc, divided by 360 times the circumference of the circle. So you're going to need a radius or diameter. So you would take 135 divided by 360 and then multiply by 2 times pi times r, 2 times pi times 12, and you would get your answer. So we're going to jump straight to these. So 45 degrees. So 45 divided by 360 times my circumference formula. So 2 times 3.14 times 9 would give me round to 7.1 as arc length. All right, and then I can actually leave that formula up and just substitute these in. So my new angle is 60. 2 times pi times radius is 12. So 12.6. We'll round up to 12.6. And then area of a circle is pi r squared. There is no diameter formula for area, so you will have to find the radius first if you're given the diameter. So pi 3.14 times r, so 2.5 squared, and we'll round to 19.6. And my radius for this one is 3.8, so I can just substitute this number out here and round to 45.3. All right, so then area of a sector. Here is your formula for area of a sector. So it's similar to the arc length formula, except for this out here is now your area formula instead of circumference. So you have the angle of the sector divided, measure of the arc, divided by 360, and then times the area of the circle. All right. So we'll jump to this. Get our calculator out. All right, so we have the angle, which is 270, divided by 360 times, we use pi and see what happens, pi r, which is 13, so 398.2. All right, and then for this one, the measure of the angle is 60, and my radius is 11. So 63.4. We'll round to 63.4. Okay, and that is it for this lesson.